Last year, Apple updated the noise cancellation on the AirPods Pro 2 with something they call adaptive audio, and I've been using it in my workshop ever since. But my experience has only raised a bigger question in my mind. Are consumer earbuds like those from Apple and Bose safe enough for the workshop? Today we're going to look at the Apple AirPods Pro 2 with USB-C, the Bose QC Earbuds 2, which have the same ANC tech as their slightly newer QC Ultra earbuds, the IsoTunes FreeAware, and if we have time, standard issue 3M silicone earplugs. Let's start with how a large, rigid shop vacuum sounds to an unprotected ear versus Bose and Apple earbuds with active noise cancellation on. Which one's better? That's harder to say than you think. You can obviously tell they perform differently across the frequency spectrum, but which one's better for your whole workshop? To answer that, let's take a look at 3 common tools. So looking at the high points in the graph here, you can see some pretty high sounds in the low frequency stuff down below 1000 Hertz. The A weighting scale tells us to discount anything below 1000 Hertz because most damage hits above 2000 Hertz, and that's where you lose the ability to hear human speech. But don't take my word for it, just listen as they start to drop out frequencies above 2000 Hertz. You can already tell the speech is becoming muffled, but you need to remember that tinnitus is going to start filling in those high frequencies with a nice even pitch. If you're enjoying this part of the video, please like and subscribe. So now we know which frequencies matter and why they matter, but which earbud brand will protect your ears better. Let's hear a dust collector, then a table saw, and then a miter saw. Which one sounded the best? Keep in mind though, your ears are probably a very bad judge of what sounds safe. Previous exposure to dangerous sound levels will dull your subjective experience to those same frequencies. It's as though your ears are drunk and they're telling you they're fine to drive home, but they don't know what fine is, they don't know what safe is. They are drunk, they don't know what safe is anymore. In my non-expert review on these graphs specifically, I think the Bose went on higher total noise reduction across most frequencies that matter. On the shop vac, Bose outperforms Apple here as well as here. Even so, Apple scores a solid win at 9000 Hertz. On the table saw, Apple outperforms here while Bose wins here, as well as any strong sound above 5000 Hertz. On the most dangerous tool most people use most often, Bose generally outperforms at all frequencies below 8000 Hertz. Apple wins out above that range, which can offer comfort, if not safety. So Bose wins, right? Not so fast. With such a deep well of third-party accessories, it's worth comparing their performance against memory foam ear tips from brands like Comply. At the time of recording, I only had access to Comply foam ear tips for the Apple AirPods, but not for Bose. But I've tried the Bose ones now, and I can tell you they perform similarly. In just a few seconds, we'll actually hear how they compare to standard silicone ear tips. But before that, I want to tell you about a project I've been working on called Fine Grain. It's function-forward, purpose-driven work desks for professionals, engineers, and people who make things. Go to finegrainwork.com to see some available pieces or reserve a spot in the next production run. Now let's hear about those foam ear tips. Here we see the Apple AirPods with foam up against Bose. Overall, it's a huge improvement above 8000 Hertz and helps match Bose's performance at 17 and 3 and 4000 Hertz. I'd still give Bose a slight edge, but it's certainly within my large margin of error. With the updated firmware coming to the AirPods on iOS 17, you're getting a new and much stronger adaptive noise mode. Adaptive noise mode is basically transparency mode until it detects a very loud sound, whereupon ANC kicks in. Bose has had the same feature since they launched the QC Earbuds 2 last year. They call it Active Sense, which operates inside of the Aware mode. Let's take a listen, just comparing ANC and adaptive modes between Bose and Apple. Because we still have to cover test methods and whether these things are actually safe as compared to options from 3M or isotunes, I'll jump to the conclusion. I think these adaptive modes are mostly okay. There's a slight increase in sound level below 3500 Hz, but generally they perform as advertised with one important caveat. Apple advertises a lightning fast response time. How fast was it?
It processes at 48,000 times per second.
Wow, speaking of loud, check out that pantsuit. But in reality, it's a solid whole second before ANC kicks in. Just take a listen. So if you're at the miter saw with a lot of infrequent cuts, it's important to know that you could build up a dangerous amount of exposure second by second as the ANC kicks on and off. Bose performs similarly here, but they just don't make any asinine claims about it. Before jumping into safety as compared to things like 3M and isotunes, let's make clear how I'm testing these things. I took a high quality lav mic, stuffed it into a thick silicone tube, and filled the back of that tube with hot glue to seal it in. Before and after every test, I did check for a good seal approval from inside the iOS AirPods app, and you can tell that each earbud has a good seal inside the tube. I did have to hack my way past in-ear detection on all the earbuds so they would stay activated, which this fake silicone ear solved for me. I've made no objective statement that these earbuds are safe. And don't hold your breath, I'm not going to. I'm focusing on comparative analysis only. What I will do though is use the same methodology and compare them to options that are proven like isotunes or 3M. In both cases, a really strong performance from isotunes. It's a bit of a wash at 4000 Hz, but strong literally everywhere else. And last but not least, the 3M silicone earplugs performed approximately in between Bose and isotunes in terms of total noise reduction. They're kind of like 3.6 Ronkin. They're
not great or terrible.
This seems like a layup for isotunes, but believe me, I didn't think it would be. To be clear of any suspicion of bias here, I purchased all of these products myself, and for my part, I won't be using the isotunes day to day. I'll tell you my pick at the end and why, but for isotunes, I found that their transparency mode, the reliability of the connection, and other features were generally subpar. So what's the takeaway from all this? First, consumer-grade earbuds like Bose QC Earbuds 2 or Apple AirPods Pro 2 offer a strong combo of active and passive noise cancellation that allow you to safely use them with certain tools like the table saw, the sanders, bandsaw, small routers, dust collectors. They all operate at or below 85 decibels, and I don't claim, but I believe they are fine to use with these options. Second, foam ear tips, like from Comply or other brands, offer a strong noise reduction for frequencies above 5000 Hz. If you can find them for your earbuds and they fit you well, I think you should use them. I don't see any downsides. Third, adaptive noise modes do mostly work as described, but they offer less protection overall, especially at a miter saw where the ANC is kicking on and off. Fourth, isotunes seems to offer the strongest total noise reduction in the adaptive earbud class right now. If your workday involves regular, dangerous exposure to sound levels, you should absolutely choose something that's OSHA rated and qualified like isotunes. For my part, I spend as much time tinkering and designing as I do ripping fat maple on the table saw, so AirPods with foam are my go-to for right now. I'm looking forward to updating this review again in the future. Top of mind are the Sony XM5 earbuds, as well as a IEC 700 spec microphone That's a very specific microphone that's supposed to respond in the same way as the human ear does to certain frequencies. But if you have other comments or ideas for how you'd run this study yourself, please let me know in the comments. I want to make this better and more informative. But for now, that's all I got.